Cherokee Mike. That looks good. Yep. Oh my god, this is gonna be one hell of a week. So I thought it was gonna be double patch notes, but actually it's just one at a time. It's just that they're one day after another. Today we have the 2SKO patch notes. As you see right before you, with a collie right up there, glaring down at us. And tomorrow it's Jam's turn with the Guilty Gear Strive 2.0 patch notes. These are my two games. And they're happening all at once. I don't play Tekken 8. I'm not a very good Street Fighter player. I kind of stopped playing Street Fighter for quite a bit. And other anime fighters are fine, but they don't feel as good as Guilty Gear. You know? And then there's 2XKO, my poor ill-fated beloved. And it seems as the forces are going up again. But why do they have to land at the same time? Why do they have to land at the same time? It's like getting double booked. It's not like I can just not play them, right? These are my two games. These are my two games. My focal points. My favorites of the genre. Especially 2SKO nowadays. The hours I put into this. Actually, no. To be honest, for the last 2 weeks, I've been slacking a lot on fighting games in general. And this is mostly because I've been working on videos. A lot of videos. Not just for my channel, although you've seen some of the products of that, but also for my friends' TCG channel as well, that we're slowly getting up on content for, because we are both Riftbound nuts and we have played a lot of Riftbound, although we've both skipped out on the last skirmishes because we're both busy as fuck. Him with his real life job and me with making content and trying to find a real life job. God damn, I don't want to get personal here, but it's a little rough out there in the job market. Holy shit. Yeah. Without going into detail of that, let's focus on the fun stuff, the overwhelmingly fun stuff, and that I'm getting overwhelmed by all the fun I'm supposed to be having this week. If you see my schedule on Twitter and Facebook, Twitter and Blue Sky, you'll see that I've booked myself for every single day this week. I might be streaming earlier tomorrow and Thursday, whenever the patches actually drop for the respective games. For obvious reasons. I will be sure to update on social media if that is to occur. But suffice to say, there's a lot of button pressing this week. And there's a lot of de-rusting, because the last time I played Guilty Gear was for Mayfei's channel to beat up random strangers. And I did pretty well on Bridget, because ultimately Bridget muscle memory is really freaking strong. Bridget and Naga Ryuki muscle memory in particular. I was holding back so much playing Naga Ryuki, only using his slash rekka. Try not to do any of his specials too much, because there's a bunch of newbies, you know. I don't want to terrorize him too much with one-shot Naga Ryuki. And it's already enough that he gets a way to use a credit card on his blood meter next patch, right? It's already enough that he is only even more terrifying with a way to not only low poke you from long range and punish you for standing up, but put a pause on his blood meter gain, lock himself at level 3, and then just kill you dead. I'm glad to try him out, because he for the longest while, he was my main. Like, I went to 2 evils with him. That's how much of a main he was for me. Now, did I do well? Absolutely not. I have some amazing memories from piloting Naga Ryuki at Evo. Especially, was it 4 years ago? Shit, has it been that long? Maybe. Goddamn. Maybe more than 4 years ago. Holy shit, I've been playing this game for a long time. But yeah, Naga Ryuki feels like a power trip. Feels very, very much like a power trip. And now you're giving me a tool to extend the range, the windows in which he is effective. Like, super effective. Not just effective. Forget about that. Super effective. If you're giving me ways to extend the range in which the windows in which he is a super effective monster, then all I can say is, good luck out there. I'm going to be pressing this button. You're just going to have to deal with it. Naga Ryuki is super fun, but super limited. I ultimately dropped Nagaryuki in favor of Bridget because I needed somebody that can actually handle like actually have like mobility in the game and handle like projectiles decently well. Have some kind of aerial mobility to get out of the way of super spammy ranging tactics so that I can actually get in there and fight. And she's been very, very good about that. In fact, she turned what used to be a complete loss record against Happy Chaos into something that was approaching 50-50. Like, it felt really bad still. Happy Chaos is just a bastard. But it felt more winnable with Bridget than it did with Nagaryuki, who simply doesn't have any way to avoid Curse. And once Curse actually lands, and remember, originally Curse will afflict itself upon you even if you block. This is getting changed apparently for 2.0, as we will confirm soon enough. This is getting changed so you can actually block Curse and not just eat guns for half a minute at a time. But Nagaryuki had no way to avoid that. His super jump can just barely get over it, but you have to time it really well. It has to be a preemptive timing as well. So you have to guess that Curse is going to come out, and then you can jump over it, and then you can do things and still get hit by Happy Chaos. Because Happy Chaos has a really good 6p, and Happy Chaos also has a row that will take you right under you and then just cross you up for free. But speaking of cross-ups, I want to do that to other people, which is why we're going over the 2x KO patch notes instead tonight. All this rambling about Guilty Gear Strive is just me waxing nostalgic about my former main game. But this is my actual main game now. This is my actual focus. This is why I want to be able to compete in more over time, as soon as I'm able to afford to go to competitions again. Because, you know, even the active driving around is... You got a budget for that, especially nowadays, so the gas price is so freaking high. Yeah, it is what it is. But anyhow, this game at least is free to play. This game at least is bringing me a hot ninja woman as a free to play. All she costs us is 10,000 credits, which I already have banked up. Free through the champion recruitment event, which lasted for 3 weeks. I'm going to focus heavy on this, so I don't need to spend this. I can just spend it on her skins. So I will test Akali through the practice tool. Obviously, that will be how I'll be doing most of the recordings for her team play, her combo synergies, how she works with certain character archetypes and play patterns, and whether or not she works as good as assist. It seems as if for forward assist actually has some heft to it that can be abused. I'm very much looking forward to doing the experiments on her, while also just playing normally, so I can unlock her over time. Hopefully not have to spend 10,000 credits in 3 weeks, but just do the champion recruitment event, which is a lot easier, or should be a lot easier. I'm not sure how long that'll take. I forgot at this point how long it took me to unlock Caitlyn. I got her eventually, but I just completely forgot like what the champion recruitment event was like for her. I shall probably put a timer on that this time around, so I can actually properly gauge how long that takes. Anyhow, this also introduces local duo mode, which is really nice, except I have nobody to play that again with. Like, I have my IRL friends around me, or else I wouldn't be doing IRL Riftbound events. At least not as frequently. But few of them are fighting game players, although I think I will... I have a friend's birthday coming up soon, and he does plan to set aside a fighting game section. Honestly, quite generous of him, because I know he doesn't play that much, but that's mostly for me and other freaks. So I will hopefully do that a little bit more. The Spirit Blossom skills are so good. Ari especially looks so good. This is cheating. This makes me want to spend money. Look how good the stage looks now. It's just so nice. Oh, I should probably... I'm going to play the videos. Yeah, like they redid the stage. They made everything look pretty. They added a waterfall into the back. It just looks like it's a nice improvement over the arcade stage, you know. It's not, I wouldn't call it a strict upgrade perhaps, but it's a nice change of pace. Feels very fresh and springy, which means that if they're going to do Spirit Blossom for the spring event, because that's kind of an obvious fit, that's obviously what they tend to do. It's not as if they're doing a winter event for the winter skins or anything like that with a winter room. But this does demonstrate two things. One, that there is some forward thinking involved with 2SKO's skin marketing. And two, that unlike League of Legends, the tech for 2SKO is baked in to allow a skin swap for lobbies and everything else whenever they want it. So we can probably expect this throughout the year. There's probably going to be a summer theme, along with Summer Ahri, and Summer Jinx, and Summer Lowy, and Summer Yasuo. And wouldn't it be really funny if there was a Summer Warwick too? That would be hilarious. I hope they work out Summer Warwick skin, because that would be really, really, really funny. Anyhow, Spirit Blossom Avatar is a nice Japanese themed skin, so on and so forth. The replay options are really nice. When you're viewing a match replay, you can now pause to open a menu of viewing options. Use it to enable hitbox and hurtbox and collision display, the frame data bar, input history, and more. Try to level up your VOD review. This is so useful. You cannot overstate how useful it is to be able to VOD review exactly how your hitboxes are interacting. Your hitboxes and your hurtboxes. All the times when Vice complained about not being able to turn around the wrong way to do a heavy attack, stuff like that, that's probably because the hitbox detection on that move is timed differently than they expect. That hitbox of the hurtbox of the opposing player is passing over at a different point in time than they expect. Because quite honestly, hitboxes and hurtboxes in fighting games tend to sometimes be a little non-intuitive. For balance's sake, for instance, they can't just be directly on the character, because actually that makes it more likely for you to whiff, right? A smaller hitbox that only fits the size of your fist, and you can only do certain ranges of motions, means that unlike in real life, you cannot track their smallest of movements to dodge as easily. So both defending and attacking is significantly harder without certain hitbox changes to make it feel more appropriate, even if it doesn't quite fit the visual model, right? There have been plenty of studies on what actually feels fair in the fighting game, or even any video game with hitboxes. It's always a little non-intuitive about what actually works and what actually feels fair. Community event support. This was announced previously. The community support program is now worldwide. Do locals and earn in-game currency, exclusive avatar items. I should probably do my monthly if I can afford to go to them to at least get this, because it's really nice. System changes are a pretty big one. This is bigger than you might think. A -3 recovery on handshake tag when assist does not make contact with the opponent. Means they cannot track them quite as easily. Neutral handshake tag will be a slightly worse option, while unblocking on his situations are unchanged. On offense, early handshake tag to be parry will be significantly less attractive. Math now works out in the favor of the defender if assist does not make contact, so basically you cannot simply throw out his assist and expect to not be punished while you transfer over to the next character to sandwich them, beat their parry. You can longer perform parry after headshot tagging for 50 frames. So tag and parry to try to force the timing for a active parry is now impossible after a handshake. So you have to parry with your point character. You cannot simply toss somebody out and have them parried instead, and because the assist will bring them closer to the enemy, they will be in a better position to take advantage of the parry to then punish them with a long range strike. Right? They cannot simply handshake, parry, attack as a way to completely overturn your offense. His face is short enough to block a jabbing decided parry, but also long enough that handshake tag each parry is really a good idea. Yeah, it just messes up the timing for handshake parry a lot. Limit strike now built 20 meter, decreased to 40 meter. Limit strike was built too much meter for how easy it was to access for some champions. Yeah, especially with Blitzcrank, which can just force limit strikes at will. this is probably a necessary change for certain teams. For the teams that weren't exactly designed to limit strike effectively, this doesn't change much. For the teams that were just getting limit strikes all the damn time, them burning meter is now a much more deliberative course of action, and you can run down meter a lot faster than they did previously. Nerfing them out super meter gain from performing long combos and performing certain action. Long combos now generate less meter than before. This shouldn't be felt by most players, only those who are using the long combos. So basically, the reason why you would use certain combo routes, even if their total amount of damage was maybe like plus 10 over like the 420 or 500 or 600 that you were doing through a more reliable but shorter combo route, is because even if you with the combo, you built a lot of meter along the way, and meter is everything. Meter management is resource management in general is so important in competitive games, because a lot of time when you boil it down to the fundamental mechanics, what's actually determining what wins or loses is who's most efficient with their resource usage, right? Who's burning all the resources at once and then just like spends the last half of the game limping along, hoping that they don't get punished for it. Who's not using their resources effectively, so they bank up a lot of meter, a lot of the things they could have done to get out of nasty situations, but because they're like hoarding them like hyper potions in Pokemon, or no, not even hyper potions, they're hoarding them like full heals and full restores in Pokemon, right? Not even using them on Elite Four, even when they're about to lose, because they think, oh man, I don't want to use my best potion until it's truly necessary. Sure, I can get away with more. But yeah, this basically makes it so you have to be a little smart about your meter usage, and this is more rewarding for those that are more conservative with their meter usage, as those that spam meter all the time will find it harder to pull themselves back in the game. Break meter now accumulates faster while in combos. So basically, if you're just getting comboed all the time, you'll probably be able to get like 2 breaks out of a round, which is nice for newbies, and that's not so much if you're like not always on defense. So on defensive teams, this is probably better overall, and also means you can more reliably get into a fury state at the end of the game, because even if you break early on, if you're stuck blocking for a lot of the game, or you're eating very, very extended combos, the game will give you a bit of a reprieve, or at least the option, or at least like more opportunities to rubber band back into the game than you did before through the break mechanic. Now, this is still not as strong as building. I would say it's not quite as strong as building super meter, because ultimately what you're doing is you're allowing the weaker player in a match to break early and then build up into fury to try to get back in the game. But if they're already in a position where they can reliably generate 2 break moments in the game, they are taking a lot, right? They are demonstratively a weaker player. This is just a last-ditch attempt to claw your way back in. And for 2 equally level players, yes, this is actually kind of scary for the offender, because all that work to build an advantage can be wiped away with a good Fury bar usage. I've done plenty of times. Others have as well. That's the whole point of the Fury mechanic, to give you a chance to claw your way back into the game tooth and nail, which is fine. There are probably some edge cases where this doesn't quite feel fair for a lot of top tier players, but I think it's more than balanced out by the super meter effective impact. Rules that we can break have an update. You can't break when getting hit by super. You can't break during super startup. You can break when being hit by an attack that's not a super. This generally buffs Shinx, as opponents can no longer break out for supers and ultimates. Yeah, that makes sense. If you try to break, in a lot of cases, yeah, actually no, there's a lot of scenarios for that I faced. You can't break during a super startup. You can break preemptively if you think they're about to super, and then you break, it will knock them out of the super. But if you try to respond to a super break, now it's going to allow you to get out of jail. Now, it used to allow you to get out of jail. Now you can no longer get out of jail as long as they have already started the super. And air kindness no longer counts a minor reaction. Interesting. This is the big one. Holy shit! I have been waiting for this for so long. Let me get this clear. I have been a long time advocate for 2SKO, even through its worst damn periods and its most like intense layoffs related dramas. But I long hated this specific part of the game. Everybody else as well. I'm just adding to the noise, but this is the single most welcome change in the game. I want to make it as clear as possible that I hated what they did with the roll mechanic and this game's launch. I hated it. I did not understand why the developers would keep it for so many months, and now they have finally waved the white flag. The rolls are no longer performed by holding down back or down forward, which means that if you are waking up, you can actually legitimately block. Finally, the rolls are now performed by holding directly away from the opponent or up and away from the opponent. Rolls will now be more consistent performing. You can hold down, and then you can hold back or forward on wake up to block. You can now perform supers while holding the attack button. Breaks will no longer be forward when you return to neutral after performing a directional special. So all these input adjustments have been long begged for the longest time. Thank God. It will actually feel like a proper goddamn game. Like that's how long I've been holding back on my annoyances about how roles are performed in this game. To be clear, this means that if you're holding 7 or 9 on using numpad structure, if you're holding 7 or 9, basically up and away or up and towards your opponent, you will now roll properly. And this feels more appropriate, because what are you doing when you're rolling? You're diving head first away from them or towards them to try to like spin out of the attack, just barely dodge it. You're making a risky, highly committal play to get out of the way and then try to take advantage of your new positioning. And that makes sense. There's a whole bunch of bug fixes, and I want to get into that. This is the most important part. We're pretty happy with our last patch line in terms of balance. We're excited to see how Akali's arrival, a few more Echo nerfs, and Jinx Caitlyn buffs affect the meta. This is the big one. She's new and she's perfect. Probably not. That's probably overstating it. Let's be fair. We'll find out tomorrow how perfect she is. But I'm already telling you right now, because of how effective her smoke install can be in the match, she's probably going to get Echo treatment. And hey, you know what? Echo's my main, so we'll probably have to see how badly he gets nerfed at this time. Echo is beginning to stabilize the meta, but there are 2 remaining options we want to remove from his kit before we say we're feeling good about his power level. We're removing 2 particularly strong power spike Echo has: performing a replay after being hit by a break and get an attack, and performing extremely long break safe combos while Tangled Timeline, or the S2 super, is active. So replay can no longer be used during an opponent's break. That makes sense. Echo install now ends when Echo is hit by attacks. That's long overdue, to be frank. Echo can no longer cancel into dash by blinking light needed while rewinding to a volatile after image. Yeah, it was just a super powerful option select. I didn't use it much, but it was always there just simply because how the game mechanic and input reads work. Mega Timeline now causes a soft knockdown on ground hits when batted. This previously caused an on-the-ground level knockdown, so that got severely nerfed actually. Like, that was one of the best ways to use that super. Hit the opponent with a batted Mega Timeline no longer counts as a hit from a super. Okay, so that means that this no longer is burst safe. With the new break rules, opponents can now break this hit. Chrono Strike Time's Up now has a custom hurt box. Interesting. so he can actually punish this now. So yeah, he's gotten nerfed back. Previously, they weakened his aerial game. Now they're weakening his supers to basically a level that it should have been at the start. To be frank, like S2 super in particular is the strongest move in the game. Although I was never able to utilize it properly, it's still incredibly strong because it's still a super powerful install state that you can easily bluff and fuzzy up and just throw them off the game and catch them blocking the wrong direction with the right use. It's just super good. But now it's not impossibly good. Now you can actually punish for using it badly. Now if you guess right, you can knock Alka out of it entirely. Yes, that is right. Time Wander no longer occasionally sends opponents in the wrong direction. Thank God. This was actually really obnoxious. Time Wander retrieval visual effect now goes away when Echo performs S1 or S2 super. Assist no longer ignores assist damage scaling of attacking before Time Wander makes contact with the opponent. Okay, I was getting with a lot. Fix that issue where mid-air replay was not being properly anti-air by air available attacks. You can now down age Echo properly when he's using replay. This particular bug fix feels like a huge nerf to him because it was in fact what made Echo approaches so damn safe and so damn hard to block. So yeah, long overdue. I'll still be playing Echo. Fundamentally, I think he has he still has the most complete kit in the entire game, right? He's still probably going to be A+ tier or even still S tier simply because even after all these nerfs, he still has crazy cross up and fuzzy potential. An Echo that has his Chrono Shift up, especially with assist coverage, is the best can opener in the game. Because even if you can guess his high lows and his side to sides, and it's really hard to guess those under the right conditions, the timing of his Chrono Strike can be a huge throw off for your own sense of timing, for your own sense of how the game is actually being played out and when the next window of opportunity actually is. As long as his temporal clone is up, you're in trouble, no matter how he's gone that clone and for how long that duration is lasting. But now let's actually go through the other nerf target. No major change to Ari. We're pulling back some powerful wild flares. This move was generally quite a lot. Meter interact with it after pushback block was difficult due to its deceptive range. We've also reduced the overall length of S2 slightly through hit stop and block stop to get back into action even faster. Wild Flares is the S2 attack that she does, like toss out a huge Kamehameha, and if she hits you twice with it, it's a limit break and you can slap against the wall. It's really good. Well, so his stop block stop has been reduced, so it feels snappier, and you're no longer just like locked out of the game by getting hit by it. Hitbox as the lock distance on second hit has been reduced, so it's no longer just like shove you into the corner. Meter gain on final has been decreased from 10 to 6. Since it's only affecting her really strong neutral S2 ability, I don't think her overall game plan is any less effective, because Wild Flare was always supposed to be like the end of your attack string in the first place, right? You are not using this as a setup. You're not using this as a poke most of the time. You're using this at the end of your combo string to get a limit break out of them and to keep them in the corner. But now the knockback on it in launch distance not knockback, just the launch distance on it has been reduced. So its corner carry potential has been affected. Probably not to the extent that it's useless for pushing into your corner, because it's still ultimately supposed to be a combo ender. It's supposed to have some utility, but it's no longer just a way to like keep them trapped there, knowing that if they guess wrong on what Ari's going to try to do from halfway across the string, Wild Flare is just going to slap them right back in the corner and they're stuck in the locker again. Wild Flare's cancel into both Stalking Darts was not intended. Forward Black Spirit Rush is now probably cancelable into supers. Oh, that's a buff. Fix above where mid-air forward Spirit Rush has excessive pushback when you use at specific range. That was basically, there used to be a sweet spot for that, and now it's gone. Move and actually performing handshake tag at specific time when for tag was blocked. I haven't seen that enough to know how that impacts their gameplay. It sounds like it's just fixing something annoying. That's all well and good. That's all well and good. I still think she's like the best character right now, but the margin between her and the rest of the top tiers is nowhere near as high as it was with Yasuo. Now, mind you, I'm saying this as somebody that loses to Ahri more often than not. But as soon as I get a couple more games with Ahri, it becomes clear what her actual attack pattern, attack pattern timing actually is, and therefore it gets easier to actually punish her. Like, it's not, well, I say easy, but it's a really relative thing. Fundamentally, she's not supposed to be easy to capture. Fundamentally, punish rather. Fundamentally, she's supposed to be slippery as hell, right? That is her entire modus operandi. Like, is her damage particularly notable compared to a lot of the rest of the cast? No. Her combo routes are really, really good, especially if you're Sonic Fox. Her synergy is also alright as well. But her true strength is just being like, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Skirmisher sort of has the implication if you know your military history. No, fencer. She's supposed to be a long-range fencer, basically, right? She's supposed to be like jabbing in and out, throwing out the fireball to test your range control, and then if you make a major mistake, they get properly punished. But without like the right setup, her damage isn't anything remarkable, and she dies really, really quickly if she herself relies too much on her aerial routes and just gets 2H'd into oblivion, which I have done against some Ahris that have proven themselves impatient. Because ultimately, her block pattern is really, really readable, right? If you played against Ahri enough, you generally know what the time is for her attacks, and you can respond accordingly, and therefore she's less of a threat. But you do have to put in the work. You do have to put in the homework, which I think for a lot of people in fighting games is where they really stumble on. They just refuse to believe that they need anything more than their intuitive capabilities, as if it's some slight against their honor to not be some kind of intuitive genius. They just like figure out the match as it goes along. But fighting games rewards observation. And fighting games especially rewards pre-game observation to understand what your opponent's incentives are and how that translates into the actual moves they make. So study. Use your practice tools. Now, Blitzcrank. Continue to give us via Hurtbox adjustments to Rocket Grab and Rocket Punch. Positive impact with previous Hurtbox adjustments. You expect these to. Oh my god, he's getting buffs. He was already really scary last patch. Damage now has an additional hitbox on his shoulders, and additional hitbox on his fist. Will now more consistently combo airborne opponents, and hitbox better matches the animation. So his punishments are even better now. Good god. I may actually want to try Akali Blitzcrank a little bit, because I feel like that's kind of nasty. I feel like if Blitzcrank has some proper assistance, because he's already gotten serious buffs to his overall offensive capabilities. Air Purify, her box have been adjusted. They're now disjointed, which will let Blitzcrank champions perform aerial moves more easily. Oh my god, you can't even punish Air Purify now. That's nasty. That's brutal. Lane's moves and neutrals difficult to watch to reward players that predict opponents correctly. My god. Rocket Punch, her box is adjusted, now immune to. So it's now properly immune to projectiles. Oh my god, they really do hate zoners. Oh my god, that's terrible. Air Purifier Assist now has 4 additional active frames, now matching Air Purifier down. Down S1. Rocket Grab, Mid-Air Rocket Grab, and Rocket Grab Assist, her boxes have been adjusted. It's a very minor change. Denting Blows will actually work consistently against both Braum and Blitzcrank. Super Mega Death Rocket Monkey Cannon now breaks armor, which is good because Blitzcrank's armor is terrifying. I actually am considering it. Giving the buffs to him that were already there, that made him really scared to play against. And the fact that he can just like punch through projectiles, I feel like he can set up a lot of really nasty situations, can't he? I have to try. Braum was also a recipient of some really strong buffs last time. Recent apart from Braum's stand behind me is stand behind me assist to make fighting the big guy a little easier. He's now easier to jump over as he performs these moves, and stand behind me assist's smaller collision pill will make it easier to interact with. Also, now that handshake tag is -3 across the board, we expect that the power of stand behind me assist will be significantly lower. This is probably true. The fact is, if you used Braum's stand behind me as a reaction to certain things that people were doing, you will naturally just get hit by his everything. Because hitting the actual shield puts you at a severe disadvantage if you're not prepared for it, if it wasn't deliberate act. And always the best act against shield was to grab and throw them, but that obviously isn't going to be very, very possible if you are programming an attack right behind Braum's shield, and well, you'll get poked out. You'll get poked out of grabbing him. Simple enough. Glacial Fissure's star invulnerability has been removed. That's good. That's a nerf, but that's a well-deserved nerf. Glacial Fissure was really, really scary. Some bug fixes, stuck in the floating state. By the way, this wasn't with Braum, I think, but Scar has still discovered some extra floating state bugs that I'm sure GC Yoshi's going to have so much fun trying to track down. Good luck. Will now probably lose Unbreakable when he's killed, but does not touch the ground. Interesting way to carry over. There are bug fixes for other champions, but they affect Braum. Yeah, Vice, Denting Blows, GC Super Mega. We already mentioned this. Speaking of somebody that's down and low tier, because Caitlyn was really hard, Caitlyn is going to go some significant consistency improvements to improve her overall quality of life. Comboing as Caitlyn converting off straight hits will be more reliable. This might have actually... My biggest complaint against Caitlyn as a character was that some of her routes just felt so finicky and demanding. And now you're telling me they're more reliable? Especially with heavy aerial sniper assist. Caitlyn felt particularly stuck in the mud while performing normal, so we're improving her run momentum on attacks so she can poke more effectively, chase rolls adequately. She's still not an expert at this, but will feel more in line with the rest of our champions. That's really scary, actually. Caitlyn with actual pursuit ability. She's been hitting the tracks. She's been hitting the tracks alongside Vi to get her stamina up. Knockdown distance on grounded hit has been reduced. Makes it more consistent. Yeah, this is all consistent improvements. Now since opponents backwards hitting cross up, this is nice. Launcher will now set opponents opposite of Caitlyn if they're on the other side. Converting into mid-air down heavy will be more consistent on hit. Yeah, this is all pretty good. This is all just like making so that the combo routes you practice will actually be reliable to execute. Bola now has 10 frames more hit stun on counter hit and launches grounded opponents less high, easier to follow up against. Enforcer Hex Shield now pushes grounded opponents less on hit. Interesting. I'm not sure what the consequences of that are, but interesting. Additional hitbox to ace in the hold that catch opponents performing a low attack close to Caitlyn. Performing arrow twist will no longer disable the flip reaction. Interesting. Okay, so area route a little more consistent. Everything is more consistent overall. Cops, man. Mid-air hitbox is lowered for medium hits. Mid-air Gatling now combos more consistently on airborne components. AKA's jump in is slightly better. That probably make this is one of the things that made her expert trial so hard. The inconsistency of the magic combo is just really annoying. Arrow hit style has been increased from 23 to 25, which is barely feelable, but probably makes some combos significantly more lenient. Aerial sniper skyward shot assist now always causes the same reaction on opponents, whether grounded or airborne. Interesting. No longer have infinite hit stun and airborne assists. What do you mean infinite hit stun? That sounds scary. I was never hit by that. Hope. Shot hit stun has been increased by 17. Yeah, basically just making it easier to use. Thus, Heavy now pushes blocking opponents less far, so they actually stay within the block string, and this is no longer a block string ender. Row now passes through on frame 11 instead of frame 12, so forward row is a lot more reliable, basically. And specifically, she had difficulty going through large champions, so improving her pass-through capabilities to help get through the big bodies. We're also reducing the block push on heavy, so heavy can roll into row can pass through when spaced correctly. Made that move a lot more consistent. Can cancel rifle shot into reload shot when the opponent parries the bullet. Oh, fascinating. Okay, so even if they parry it, you can still reload. That has some interesting consequences. Dash momentum improved when casting a run into actions. Can now press buttons more effectively in neutral. Yeah. So her chase capability and her ability to slide into a right range is significantly improved. She was never supposed to be the super mobile character, right? She doesn't have like a true command dash or anything like that. But this, making sure that her basic dash momentum is more and actions are more consistent with each other, that's welcome. These are nice nuances to her movement gameplay that makes her feel better as a champion, well, without making her too broken. Because ultimately, distance control is between both players. She can no longer mid-air enticing trap into trick shot when tagged out. That sucks for her. That was one of her best tricks. Rest of our bug fixes. Those are quite nice. Allied Jinx Choppers and Monkeys will no longer destroy panels for an allied Caitlyn's and Forza Hex Shield, so they can actually work together for the most annoying standoff composition allowed in the game. Darius. We think there's a good spot. We'll continue to keep an eye on how he's performing. Mind you, a lot of top tier players say that Darius is particularly weak at the moment. But I'm going to guess here. That the reason why they think Darius is a good spot is because Darius, outside of the top tier, at the uppermost echelon of playing, when everybody's just really freaking good at this whole pushy buttons thing, Darius outside of that particular zone of skill is kind of a beast. He has the easiest and most explosive access to damage from anybody in the cast. And if you don't know about his command grab, you will trip up for it. And I have lost to it plenty of times myself, simply because I wasn't quite sure if they were actually going to play it optimally and like keeping combo, or if he just wanted to go for the headbutt. Champions can no longer perform a Fury Break after dying for chip damage inflicted by a bleed in rare situations. I've never seen that before. It has to be rare. Echo, we already went over. Echo has been severely nerfed compared to his time as King of 2X KO, and yet I will still play him because Chrono Strike is by far the coolest mechanic in fighting games. Illaoi, even with erratic tentacles, Illaoi was quite strong, removing the ability to charge on down S2 on tag out and making some adjustments to prayer and stagnation, so that it no longer leads to unblockables. In return, we're fixing a quirk where tentacles will attempt to pick up, block out invulnerable opponents. Fascinating. So Illaoi tentacle behavior has been buffed to actually work properly. Prayer stagnation while tagged out. Adjustments. Tentacle smash is no longer concealable into prayer and stagnation when tagged out. So basically, some of her tag out BS is a lot more easier to read. Fix the bug where tentacle smash is not properly triggering tentacle follow-ups. Fix the bug where Illaoi tentacles will not have hitbox to summon while in Wrath of Nagakoboro's super was ending. Guiding hits assist now launches opponents lower on aerial hits. When tentacles are on screen, hitting two opponents simultaneously with a tentacle generating move will now cause both spawn tentacles to have a hitbox. Fascinating. No longer randomly spawns a big tentacle. No, the big tentacle was fun though. Well, we'll see how much I actually fixed it. Because frankly, they've been trying to fix this bug for a while. It's a purely visual bug, but it's been there for a while. Tentacles can really be disabled and hit between specific frames during Wrath of Nagakoboro's. So basically, try not to use her level 3 if it's not gonna kill, or just use it whatever. It's fascinating that this is a bug. Man, it's the tentacle puppetry is like second behind Echo as the coolest mechanic in the game, but also it's by far the most buggy. Probably because there is no like code they can simply copy paste over it. They have to design it by hand, and obviously any sort of new feature, like hand built feature, is going to be problematic like that. It's just gonna be. It is what it is. Jinx is underperforming in meta. I kind of personally disagree. I think the amount of Jinx T8s we have seen over the last couple of months indicates that in the right hand, she's actually really freaking good. Right hands and right team. I will, however, concede that Jinx as a character, individual solo character, has not been too particularly interesting. So they're buffing her normals in mid-range, adjusting hitboxes on mid-air hits to allow her to combo airborne opponents easier. Interesting. Traverse left by increasing the projectile durability, reducing long tight, so it's easier to convert if attached to a lot of opponents airborne. Very interesting. So Chompers is going to be a nastier buff. I wonder if this in particular fixes the consistency issues that made me not want to play Jinx in the first place after trying to get her hammer routes, her hammer aerial routes down for like a straight week of just diligent practice and still couldn't get the right timing for that damn thing. I'm hoping it does. I hope he improves it. Reduce push out block for medium. Norsa have to be used against blocking opponents. So this basically gives her an actual block string instead. Previously impossible to convert from the heights. Pushback head and block has been increased. Her tripping push block has been increased. Block push rather has been increased. And block stat has been increased, and now -9 on block. Overhead is often risky. We want to encourage Jinx to space the move appropriately, and a well-spaced forward H would now be safe to block. Interesting. That's an even better offense. And go way to poke. Back H is now anti-air invulnerable on frame 4. Fascinating, so you can actually react to things now. Mid-air hitbox expanded to hit higher. Mid-air down H expanded to hit higher. Jinx will often with mid-air heavy and mid-air down heavy against airborne opponents. Connecting these attacks against airborne opponents will not be more consistent. I think this really does actually fix the hammer route. I think that actually makes her her primary aerial punish significantly more reliable. Choppers is now more of a standoff threat, so she's now a proper zoner. Forward throw that builds 30 meters. That's nice. Can now cancel pow up into fish bones when holding backwards out full zap meter. Interesting. Arrow twist long and disables the flip reaction. Interesting. And some bug fix. Teemo in good position right now, so he's getting minimal adjustments this patch. I sort of agree. I haven't actually faced that much Teemos. But I think Enzim and Sonic Fox have proven that Teemo is still a very good character, especially Enzim's Teemo. Like, when you heard that Sonic Fox was teaming up with some dude named Enzim that you've never heard about, you were thinking, oh, is he just like carrying his friends to tournaments to win that 5K? No, Enzim's Teemo is fucking scary. Enzim's Teemo is fucking world class. That dude's a monster. I don't want to face it. I hate Teemo. Legitimately, I hate that damn little thing. I hate Teemo so much. So I'm glad that he's only like getting some minor adjustments. To better catch opponents next. Okay, well, that's a buff. Well, it's hilarious that Teemo could whip over several champions' heads when trying to use his ultimate point blank. We're adjusted to avoid those annoying rare situations. I mean, objectively, that's fair. I don't like it. I'm just glad the Kali can run through that shit. Vi's room. Okay, so both of my characters have gone. Both of my characters have gone nerfed. I can't even disagree that these are bad nerfs. She's been really good. She's been really good in the post Yasuo meta. Vault Breaker would now auto-fire when you handshake tag while charging the move. While there are some combo impacts, the difficulty interacting with this post-handshake tag was create the unhealthy play patterns. That's fair. I'm not saying that's unfair. Charged Vault Breaker on tag. What basically meant you could never actually break out and take your turn, even if they mess up, right? Even if you guess properly. You can no longer call assist after Blast Shield activates. This move was doing too much damage. Assists were used to help convert, and now Vi will need to go right into Super. That's fair. I can't disagree. Active Faces Vault Breaker level 3 tries to reduce from 13 to 12 frames. Level 3, that just normalizes it. That's fine. Charge Vault Breaker now all class attack out. We discussed this. Regain collision after performing punch follow up during a Blast Shield. Can longer call assist during a Blast Shield. Add additional hurt box to Relentless Force, so the punches no longer. That's the S1 Super, right? Yeah. So punches no longer occasionally whiff. Okay, so you can actually hit her out of it now. That's really annoying. Reduce duration of denting blows and remove camera zoom when mashed. That fixes some of the camera wall issues. Improve input leniency when performing footwork. One girl. Oh no, this is grab. It's a buff. It's improved input leniency when performing footwork into Wrecking Crew by 1 frame. So it's easier to do footwork into grab and grab into down S2 into yeah. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But it's just a 1 frame improvement, so it just makes it slightly more consistent. When India combat with denting blows against Braum and Blitzcrank, Vi will now perform not consistent with the rest of the cast. Okay, so that fixes the big body issue for how that works. I think it's an indirect buff for Braum and Blitzcrank. Positioning for one girl. Will there be that new character tonight? Erky, welcome to your channel. So, Akali launches tomorrow. I'm guessing around maybe like 4 Central-ish, maybe as early as noon. I'm not sure when the patch actually hits. But no, it will not be tonight. These are all the patch notes that I released today to apply to tomorrow's patch. In which case I'll be spending all day playing Akali until the Guilty Gear 2.0 patch notes launches. And then from patch notes launch on 2.0, Wednesday will be more 2XKO because Guilty Gear Strives 2.0 doesn't actually land until Thursday. In which case I'll be spending all my time seeing which if I need to switch mains again, or if I want to learn, and no, actually probably will be learning Jam. I probably will be learning. I don't have a lot of money on me, but I'll definitely be learning Jam. I thought I'd drop at 12 tonight. When does the patch land? You know what? Let me double check. Maybe it's at the very end. When does it land? It doesn't say. It'll land when it lands. It'll land when it lands. But overall, I think the nerfs to both of my mains so far and Echo Vi are fair. I can't really say that they didn't introduce some really abusive styles of play with tag charged Vault Breaker on Vi. Because it basically meant that if you were hit by the tag at all, you had no way to get back in the game because charged Vault Breaker was going to ruin any attempt to do so. And that's fair. I was being really abusive of that. So was everybody else playing Echo Vi. Or Vi anything, especially Vi and Lowy. And Echo nerfs are substantial. But fully understandable. Especially for the changes to how replay works and for how volatile after image worked. Like Tangled Timeline Super in particular was just obnoxiously powerful. Easily the best install super in the entire game. And now you actually have to use it well. Now you actually have to like use safe approaches even in the after image state from Tangled Timeline, because you will be knocked out of after image if you get struck after using S2 Super. And that's not gonna be fun. Then you just wasted your beater for what? To get punished? Well, yeah. Unfortunately, that does affect who I'm playing, so that sucks for me a little bit. But I was planning to switch to Akali in some form or fashion anyhow. Probably Akali Echo just simply because the tag team potential for that is seems tremendous. Holy shit, that seems so fun. If I can get my hands to work fast enough to catch up with that, with the speed of my thoughts on how that's going to work. Oh, on Twitch side, by the way, ad starts about 3 minutes. Warwick, not a lot of changes for Warwick. That makes sense. He was nerfed last patch, but he's still pretty playable, to be quite honest. This is a big one. Okay, so mid-air spin slicer now since opponents less far away from Warwick, builds slightly more bloodlust, so spinning slicer is actually going to be a really good combo tool now, or at least allows for better follow-ups afterwards. Warwick will no longer generate bloodlust from hitting tentacles, mushrooms, chompers, etc. So, for once, there is an indirect buff to zoners, in that Warwick is not being fed through zoner mechanics. The traps you put out to try to keep him away will no longer just make him more powerful. And that's deserved. The My Planet Needs Me Warwick is no longer an issue. Or any side effects no longer persistent interest, but I've had this happen before. It's really annoying. Fixed bug where opponents will be stuck in falling animation while performing probably snare as Warwick hits the ground. That's kind of an odd one. Warwick will now properly track Caitlyn with infinite duress when she performs mid-air enticing trap. Very nice. Fixed an issue where Warwick fails to steal the corner when allied Vi performs mid-air S1 on player 1 side. Warwick now always steal the corner in this situation. Yeah, that's just a weird interaction. Specific to that team as well. Because it doesn't really happen to anybody else. But again, the Warwick game plan really hasn't changed. When you're building Bloodlust, they didn't becoming a combo god. Like, it's the same deal with Abba and Guilty Gear Strive, except you don't have a weak neutral game from the start. Warwick neutral game has always been very strong. It's just that it wasn't all that damaging without Bloodlust to really like boost him up into an S tier character. But he was always at like B tier at worst. He was always B tier at worst. He was pretty high A tier, given the 50-50 that he inherently has with his low or overhead check, right? He either sweep at your ankles or simply bite you over the head, and then he just combos out of that because the bite happens to be able to combo off of on the ground hits as well. Shit, he was obnoxious. Warwick, Prime Warwick was really hard to react to, and even nerfed Warwick still has one of the best 5 M's in the game. Standing medium hits. That button was just obnoxiously strong. He can literally just use that to like poke you with odd timing, try to catch you on the whiff or catch you on a startup. And then as soon as it hits, it directly combos into his bite. And then he just built like half of his blood gauge at once. And then it just resets to do it again. And it's a really good button. And blocking against it makes you irrationally angry because it has surprising range. Anyhow, now he's a little more dealable, but he's still really, really powerful if you let him play his game. Finally, the last patch made a big impact on Yasuo, and we're comfortable leaving his power where it is for now as we analyze his spot in the meta. He is still an A tier character, by the way. Yasuo, by most estimates, is still a top 5 character. Now, granted, in the roster that's about to reach 13 characters total, a top 5 character still makes like 1/3 of the overall game up ahead of him. So he's in a good place. He's still a tournament viable character without being too strong. Stormbreaker now probably starts damage scaling on first hit. Raw Super will deal slightly less damage when used in early combos. All that's fair. We're not expecting huge changes to Yasuo. The slight changes to his that have been applied to him simply make him work more as intended within that range of overall power. Weekly daily prohibition cannot be progressed while in private lobby. Yes! However, per-game credits and Battle Pass experience in Champion Master will still be awarded in the casual ranked lobby. Still, progress is good. We're not punished for practicing on our own or playing with friends in a private lobby. And missing VO for some time was using a tank launcher and whatever. Mission landing special 75 times would not progress properly. I thought that was weird. Fixing issue post-match screen with rank animation will repeat. I sometimes just don't get the animation at all. Prevent certain missions from appearing in the mission menu. Impacting navigating the mission panel with inverted controls on console. That's just console thing. Perfect graphics sometimes persist between rounds. That was weird. Launch cinematic ignored audio settings. That was also weird. Increase the overall volume of the game to be more in line with other games. That, by the way, was their editor-in-chief's input. Ben Forbes, also known as Drago. So yeah, that's okay. That's fair. Make sure ride counts region same as your intended play region. If they're different, you might experience poor connection. Transfer your Valor religions or terror accounts to a different region can affect your 2S skill progression. That's odd. The Akali launch bundle is really nice. Silver Fake Akali is a good choice. But this is an even better choice. I really want this. I really want this. I would very much welcome just like somebody gifting me a Blood Moon Mega Bundle and just out generosity, you know? Like, I certainly cannot afford it right now. The Run It Back Mega Bundle allows people to pick up some stuff that otherwise weren't available. I especially recommend Forcing Yasuo, Zombie Slayer Jinx, and actually no, these are all good. God, this is the best. Compared to Run It Back 2, I really do not like Neon Striker Vice skin. I just don't. This is, however, the best Blitzcrank skin. And this is like the one good Teemo skin. Oh, no, I'm wrong. BMO exists now. I take it back. BMO's the best skin. So this is the best skin. Sorry. This is the best skin of this bundle. I am indifferent towards gawking Darius. It's like, if this is your power fantasy, whatever. You're much more of a You're much more of a fan of high fantasy than I am. Sandstorm Echo's okay, but I feel like this is by far the superior skin, right? Holy shit! Look at the way the Echo looks. You know what? I hope my fiscal situation improves soon so I can afford this bundle. Because this too alone justifies it for me. This really does. This alone justifies it for me very, very much. And that's it. That's it. The only thing missing is the Akali stuff, but we've already seen the beginners, right? Let's go over it.
Ninja who rushes down opponents with overwhelming speed and undeniable mix-ups. She's a rebellious assassin who left the Kinku Order, an ancient clan devoted to
but people don't like her 2S skill costume. It's sort of growing on me just because it does enough to make her distinctive without losing her identity as Akali.
But her health pool is one of the lowest. She uses her speed to rush down opponents, and she can quickly capitalize on any weaknesses. Akali has
and that's a command grab, by the way.
She can double jump at any time, and she can wall jump when she has her back to the corner.
Double jump is amazing, especially for Guilty Gear players. Thank you for that double jump.
Keep opponents guessing even when she's cornered. Down forward S2 lets Akali teleport forward at a set distance. Down S2 will make her teleport in place, which can fake out the enemy team. Use down S2 in the air to teleport straight down. Improvising with Akali's teleports and jumps will help you break any opponent's defense.
Yeah, she goes from like overhead hell into a low poke into just like doing everything on you.
Special moves give her many ways to approach a fight. Her S1 suite is focused on the kunai, her knives. Standing
I do like
S1
that.
lets Akali lunge a great distance with her kunai. If
Alpha
she hits
strike.
Her opponent, press S1 again for a follow-up attack.
Alpha strike follow-up. By the way,
Akali jumps back.
That specifically.
If she hits an opponent, press S1 again for a follow-up.
This, I have to wonder if this can actually combo in with Blitzcrank. I know it'll combo in with Vi's back special, because anything airborne will simply combo off of that, and then like the more you suspend them, the more pain you can recon them, right? A Vi 4 tag to keep the suspended in the air lets Akali do a combo, aerial combo. I think he can probably link if you use Let me think. Will that work? Does Akali have a combo round that puts them back to that throws them back? I think it's just a hard knockdown, a normal one that sends them forward. If so, then Vi Akali might actually be best with ×2 assist to do double Alpha Strike, Crater Maker, aerial routes, and finish off with the Vault Breaker.
Attack. With down S1, Akali jumps backwards and throws kunai. Air S1 does the same in place. Use this move.
That's a nice air stall. Throws off timing a lot. Like the best usage of her air kunai isn't actually as a poke, it's to counter attempts to anti-air her. Right? That's what it does. Because not only does it throw projectiles right where they are if they wanted to 2H you, it also delays her in the air so that if they are 2Hing and has the strike of vulnerability, they will whiff. And then she lands with the punch.
Akali's
it bounces them up. Okay, well that just makes things even scarier, especially if you can do it if you can do that at close range of your sis character with Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank's aerial grab will snatch them out if they have even the slightest amount of bounce.
S2s are focused on her Kama, a hand.
At least they did with the last time I tried Blitzcrank, which was a while ago.
Akali slashes the space in front.
That's an Axel move.
Her. If it hits an opponent, she'll drop Twilight Shroud. A cloud of...
And the fact that that's really nice. That's so nice. It just mid-screen, finish the poke, get the install.
Powers her other specials. Holding S2 will summon Twilight Shroud. Make sure you
can do it manually as a wake up.
Because Akali is vulnerable.
Oh, sorry. So to punish their on the ground hit.
Key part of Akali's kit.
Like if you actually get a hard knockdown early on, you might as well just hold your S2 to get a smoke bomb and set up for wake up, because then it puts you in the most advantageous position imaginable, and they have multiple teleports on their wake up to cross them up without even using your assist button.
We'll get back to it after talking through her supers. Akali's S1 super throws a giant shuriken. It's a full screen projectile that drops Twilight Shroud.
That's really nice.
S2 super is a flexible command grab.
Izuna drop because she is a ninja and therefore must have a Izuna drop. I saw somebody complain about this on Reddit, by the way, that it was somehow unbalanced to give a ninja rushdown character a command grab, as if it wasn't fundamentally how you identify a fighting game ninja character, whether or not they have a command grab to punish. I mean, they're supposed to be sneaky bastards that can get up close and then punish you. It's also not as punished like look, you can check out the scaling on that damage, right?
Akali is vulnerable while using it. Twilight Shroud is a key part of Akali's kit. We'll get back to it after talking through her supers. Akali's S1 super throws a giant shuriken.
I went too far for it.
A great combo ender for damage.
Oh, combos too. But look at how bad the combo scaling is, right? What it does is forces a hard knockdown position with a bit of extra damage, but the proration on the damage is going to be immense. The whole reason to have a command grab for a ninja character isn't to basically do a heavily Potemkin buster, right? And it's not anything close to Potemkin buster. It's not her win condition, it's to set up her win conditions. You do this and then you can set up smoke bomb for free. And it's not to simply kill them on the spot. It's not that kind of move.
For damage,
here.
Akali's S2 super is a flexible command grab.
Yeah, even as a raw super, this is barely more than hitting them with a heavy.
It can be a great combo ender for damage.
No, it's not. Look, even as a combo finisher, you're not even doing a third of their HP, which by the scaling for 2 scale is pretty insignificant, right? Generally, you want it to be a 2-touch game for any individual character. As close to 2-touch as you can. But with this kind of scaling, it's going to be a 4-toucher.
Or an aggressive wake-up option while defending.
This is nice, though. This makes it so that you cannot take it for granted that a hard knockdown Akali is ready for you. Because if you try to press close-range buttons on her, you're the one knocked down instead, and now she's setting up on you.
With Akali's ultimate, she dashes forward with a smoke bomb in hand. On hit, she'll slice
That's a nice
the target
reversal.
in a tower of smoke before taking them down.
That's also oops. That's
talk
also
more
very
about
explicitly like a third-person perspective on Chip's Soup Overdrive.
Twilight Shroud, a unique mechanic for Akali. Again, you can
And this is the
summon
best
a cloud
part.
of smoke by hitting a champion with certain moves, or by charging S2.
Yeah, the fact that you can whiff punch for long range to drop the smoke bomb and start her install play. Oh my god, that's so good.
While
It's full screen
Akali
too,
is in
or
Twilight
not
Shroud,
mostly
all her
full
special
screen, not the
moves
full
get
stage,
boost,
but certainly
and some gain
full current screen.
recoveries.
Oh, they can push them out by accident.
S1 moves Akali backwards before she lunges, which can help her dodge some attacks.
That's a good whiff
Follow-up
punch.
attack brings Akali and her opponent into the air.
Or bait.
S2 gains increased range, more hits, and ground bounces the opponent. Charged S2 becomes a command grab.
Charge S2 command grab, that's really, really nice. Again, unlike a true grappler, a lot of these command grabs aren't supposed to be doing a significant amount of damage. It's not even like with Soul's command grab, which is to punish you for misreading the situation. Because it's like Soul command grab is very, very close range with a lot of startup in exchange for a lot of damage. Whereas this is a utility command grab. This is to drag you in closer. Oh shit, she's actually biking as well. That's a lot of influence. Axel, Chip, biking. Tiny little bits of that.
When Akali runs in Twilight Shroud, she can pass through champions.
That's nasty. Because you can cover for that pass through. Like, you can attack her while she's passing through, right? If you are not awake, if you are fully awake, rather. If you're fully awake, if you press jab, you'll knock her out of the pass through. But if you are blocking the assist as she passes through you, that's a free sandwich in, and now you're just dealing with everything. This is the primary reason to play her in freestyle tag. Because it guarantees that if you have assist beat up, it doesn't matter how you're going to do it, you will have an easy sandwich, and they're just going to deal with all of Akali's overhead bullshit, and then try to block low when they hear the snapback for the tag.
She's also
Like, she is going to be the blenderiest of blender characters. Blenderust. Most blendery. She's going to be, I cannot English tonight. She's going to be the most blendery of blender characters. And right, look at this frame. Look at this frame. She is right now putting Echo in the middle of a literal Sarigama blender.
immune to projectiles for a very short period of time. If you've got the skills, you can use this to outplay your opponent.
But yeah, close range projectiles, just never throw a close range projectile against Akali if you can help it. That is just the worst possible thing to do. If she has smoke up and you're trying to zone her out with the projectiles, good fucking luck. She's gonna kill you.
And here's something spicy. Twilight Shroud lets Akali cancel teleports into one another. So her mix-ups can be incredibly scary while smoke is on screen.
That is disgusting. That's it. She even backdashes so she can be in the right place and right time.
Akali wants to use her special moves to set up Twilight Shroud and get an
That's
advantage.
so good.
Here's an example of how she can put it together.
He's gonna drop to
Akali's
finish.
forward assist throws kunai over a short distance. Her back assist is an anti-air. Her
Back
super
assist DP is really
a
nice.
teleport attack that tracks the opponent no matter where they are on screen. Use it to ground bounce and keep up the pressure, even when
Oh, that's a very nice super assist. It guarantees a bounce. It guarantees a bounce.
Use it to ground bounce and keep up the pressure, even when Akali is KO'd. One of Akali's greatest strengths.
If you're a Tekken player, imagine if Tekken Tag was a thing right now, and at any time, as soon as you finish your combo, you can force another bounce. It's just as effective here, right? It resets. It allows you to keep on going with the combo. It might as well be the same thing. It might as well be the same damn thing as Red Roman Cancel in Guilty Gear. Same inherent principle. You use it at the right time, you get an extra hit, they'll be floating up in the air, continue your combo however you wish, or maybe just like finish off with a level 3. Excuse me, with a level 3, because they're down in the right position and you can run up to it and do it.
Cracking open an opponent's defense. Pair her with a teammate that can push the mix-up potential. If you have a friend who's an Ahri expert, they'll make a great duo partner. With Ahri's air dash, your high-low mix is
this is also a super mobile strategy as well.
Also try teaming up with a Yasuo player. This duo can easily switch sides with hops, dashes, and Akali's teleport.
Same deal.
Forcing opponents to defend correctly or get diced up. Akali also fights well with champions that can use their assist to provide cover, like Jinx. Use her back assist to cover Akali while
Akali has the point character for max support as the carry for the position.
We've covered the basics of Akali for now, but your training has just begun. With kunai, Kama, shurikens, and smoking.
Okay, so that attack is important.
We've covered the basics of Akali for now, but your training has just begun. With kunai.
So it looks like as long as there is a smoke screen and she's able to do Alpha Strike up, her follow attack on that one, it looks like a heavy, launches them backwards. And then if you're playing, if that was off of an assist, it'll launch them back towards the other character, which you can then tag in for continuation of the attack. But not that she even needs the assist button on that point. There could be a school of thought that the best way is to use double assist and not freestyle tag, because Akali literally does not need the help to get that sandwich through. What she needs is just like follow-ups to set up the opponent for her combo routes or for more optimal positioning for her to do S2 follow-ups or S2 setups for the smoke screen. And then she's a one-person blender. She doesn't actually need freestyle tag to have multi-angled approaches to force the opponent into a mistake. She can do that by herself, but she can't necessarily get the same openings as she can with only one assist at a time.
Master her moves for the perfect execution.
God, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. When the hell does she drop? When the hell does she drop? Okay, here it is. Erky wants you to know when it will be available. As always, the game will be down starting from 9 a.m. Pacific when the patch drops on April 7th, tomorrow. You can always check the status of the patch here on the TwitchGo client. Online matchmaking will become available once maintenance is complete. In the meantime, you can still play on offline mode. I cannot tell you when the game will be available, but I can tell you it will go down at 9 a.m. PT. That's when to expect it. Estimate the game will be unavailable for approximately 8 hours. So it probably will be up before then, because this is giving the cells a lot of extra time just in case, right? The usual responsible thing to do. That still means we won't actually be able to play until approximately 5 or 6 Pacific, right? 5 or 6 Pacific is when we can expect to actually start going with this, and that's fair. Got nothing against that. That's just the responsible thing to do. But yeah, I can't wait. God. And let me see. If it drops at about 6 Pacific, and the patch notes for Guilty Gear starts up at, I think it was like estimated to be, I want to say, what was it? Let me look it up. Hold on. Let me look that up separately. We're almost done for tonight as well. Here we are. 20 P. Okay, so about 8 p.m. Pacific is 8 p.m. Pacific is when the patch notes will drop for Guilty Gear version 2.0. That will be after their what was it? Let me double check. They actually have a special scheduled for tomorrow as well. The version 2.0 pre-update feature on the ArcSys channel. And I don't know whether or not that's going to be translated to English. I hope it will. Given how much of a Western audience they have, that only makes sense. It would be bizarre otherwise. Hint, hint. ArcSys. Actually, speaking of which, let me check their feature program. Still pending. Okay, well, that's fine. That's all with the expectation. I don't expect nothing. But yeah. Oh, Cabal's gonna be so busy. I'm going to try. Okay, so with or without access to her in casuals, I still want to be testing her in lab as much as possible, right? I'm gonna see. She will likely not be available until patch maintenance is complete, and then it's fully rolled out. So I'm going to guess that I won't be able to actually start streaming her properly until about 6 p.m. tomorrow. That's fine with me. I'm going to keep a very, 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 very close watch on their social media to know exactly when we can start up. So I really, really, really want to play her as soon as possible. Just right away. Man. I'm going to be so busy tomorrow. I want to do all the content, damn it. Let me play her already. Why won't you let me in? We'll find out soon enough. My stomach hurts. Anyhow, I'm going to send you off to Bronzewell, who's playing some Guilty Gear as a send off.
Ungodly spicy shit, but yeah, none of the spicy drinks I've tried have ever been good to me.
Hey, just start. Basically start. Yeah. Bronzewell's going over the existing Guilty Gear patch notes. These are not the battle notes, by the way. These are not battle mode notes. Those are not coming until tomorrow. But he does plan to basically send off the current patch with some open play, I believe. So we'll go ahead and say hi to Bronzewell. And I will see you tomorrow as soon as I can. Please make sure to keep track of my YouTube and Twitch channels, of course. But also for my social media on Twitter and Blue Sky to know of any last minute changes to my stream schedule. I am very much looking forward to all that this game has to offer soon enough. My stomach hurts. Actually, no, there's nobody watching on Twitch side, so that's fine. That's fine. I'll just see you all tomorrow. As always, my friends, thank you for watching and eat well.